First of all, I'd like to thank the Catfish Project, the organizers, for inviting Global Fishing Watch to this important activity. So, as mentioned earlier, I am Tamara Duran. I'm the Policy Officer for Asia at Global Fishing Watch. And for this morning, I will be introducing you to our organization, our tools, and hopefully you'll find something useful to help further strengthen your efforts in terms of addressing IUU fishing in our region. Before I start, can I get a very quick show of hands of who has heard about Global Fishing Watch or who has access to our platform? I see a handful. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. I'll be asking again later, and hopefully, I have all of the hands raised in this room already. All right, there we go. So, for today's session, I will be covering the following elements. We will start with a quick introduction of what our organization is, our mission, our strategy, an overview of the work that we do. And then after that, you'll be hearing about the Global Fishing Watch platform and the data and tools that work around it. After that, I will be giving you a quick tour, virtual tour of the Global Fishing Watch platform, walking you through the different sections, the different tools, and the functions. And then after that, we will follow with the application of this. So we will look into a specific vessel of interest. We'll do a case study demonstration so that you see how the tool can be applied in practice. And then after that would be the exciting part. So I'll give you an opportunity to do a small investigation of your own, and then I would like to hear from you later on what you found interesting or what you found exciting, and we report back to the group. So, who or what is Global Fishing Watch? So, Global Fishing Watch is an international NGO that uses satellite technology, machine learning, and data visualization. So, we put all of these together with an aim to help give an accurate picture of human activity at sea. And we do this with the use of free and open data and tools. We believe that transparency is about making information available and accessible to everyone that needs it. We also believe that it can support, or this approach can support, better policy and planning. It fosters accountability. It supports monitoring and enforcement. And it also enables diverse stakeholders to be able to participate in decision making and management. So at the moment, Global Fishing Watch is comprised of more than 120 staff that are remotely located in more than 20 countries around the world. And in terms of reach, we have recorded about 88,000 users of the Global Fishing Watch platform. And these users are located in more than 200 countries around the world. So, as I've highlighted earlier, Global Fishing Watch seeks to advance ocean governance through increased transparency of human activity at sea by creating and publicly sharing map visualizations, data, and analysis tools that enable science based decision making and that drives transformation in how we manage our oceans. So, on the right side, oh, sorry. On the right side of our screen, you could see some of the headline articles about the kind of work that we do. And if you're interested to learn more about this, I invite you all to visit our website and read through these information. To achieve our mission, Global Fishing Watch is guided by a strategic plan that implements a three-pronged strategy which features interlinking priorities that guide our work that lead up to 2030. So we are working towards being able to map all human activity at sea, noting that this information is critical in terms of strengthening fisheries management and ocean governance. We believe that it is very tough to manage what you cannot see. So that's why we strive to develop and improve the tools that we have in support of this. But we do not stop at just developing them. And what we do is we also engage with different stakeholders, especially national governments, so that they could use them. We enable them to use these kinds of open data and tools, and also to adopt transparency in their approaches. And having said that, Global Fishing Watch promotes transparency in international policies and forum, because we believe that in doing so, we contribute to creating an enabling environment, or being able to drive action at the country level. Our objective essentially is to be able to provide insights and training to help our partners use and benefit from the Global Fishing Watch data and technology. So, among others, our data has been used for providing AIS based analysis methods to contribute to IUU risk assessment. We've also been asked to look into cases of transshipment monitoring. We have been working with partners and supporting our country stakeholders in using intelligence led tools to determine risks and compliance of vessels at ports. And we, in collaboration with different partners, we also promote the use of our tool to be able to support MPA management and monitoring. And at the same time, we also build capacities to strengthen the operational efforts in terms of strengthening monitoring, control, and surveillance in the fishery sector. In carrying out our work, we also leverage on partnerships, and especially working with organizations, like minded organizations who offer complementary expertise and skills. So, among others, we are part of the Joint Analytical Cell, or the JAC, JAC, which is a consortium of 5 organizations with complementary expertise and resources that work together to transform ocean governance. We do this by facilitating collaboration, information sharing, intelligence led monitoring, control, and surveillance, and also capacity building support. The JAC was established in January 2022, initially by the IMCS network, Global Fishing Watch, where I work, and also TMT. And then later in that year, Skylight and C4ADS also joined the group. So here in the slide, you have information about the specific expertise or work of each of these organizations. So I'll give you a few seconds to read through the slide to understand better. Okay. So now we go to the Global Fishing Watch platform. The Global Fishing Watch platform is an open access online tool for visualization and analysis of vessel based human activity at sea. And it can easily be accessed by typing in the link that you could see at the lower part of the screen, globalfishingwatch.org/map. And it will ask you to register and log in with an account, because if you have an account, it will enable you access to a lot more features than if you're not registered. So to give an overview of the platform, I would like to show this video to the group.
So much of our ocean is hidden from view. Just a decade ago, building an accurate picture of human activity at sea was impossible. But thanks to advances in satellite technology, machine learning, and data visualization, Global Fishing Watch is making it a reality. We track, process, and visualize billions of GPS coordinates from hundreds of thousands of ocean-going vessels, and use artificial intelligence to illuminate their movements across the globe. To identify each vessel and its activity, we start with information from vessel registries and integrate it with tracking data from public and government sources. Then, our machine learning models predict the size and type of a particular vessel, the kind of fishing gear used, or when and where it's fishing based on movement patterns. But not all vessels transmit their location. To see more, we analyze millions of gigabytes of imagery from optical and radar satellites, revealing the global footprint of marine traffic and structures, and vessels that may not show up in monitoring systems. Using advanced research and cutting-edge technology, we synthesize these global feeds to turn big data into actionable information. Free to everyone, our interactive platform provides governments, scientists, and authorities with the ability to transform ocean monitoring. By making the invisible visible, Global Fishing Watch is helping to achieve a healthy and resilient ocean.
All right. So that, in a nutshell, is what the Global Fishing Watch platform is about. So as you've seen, basically what we try to do is take a wealth of information coming from different vessel tracking systems available, like the Automatic Identification System or AIS, vessel monitoring systems or VMS that are made public or that are shared to Global Fishing Watch by our partners. We also make use of vessel registries that are available, and satellite imagery, and we process all these information to help users understand what the vessel is doing or what a certain vessel is doing. We recognize that raw data is not at all informative if you have a lot of it in its raw form. So what we try to do is help users process all of these and gather insights from what you can see from this data. So now, after hearing about the platform and the data and tools that it has, I would like to show you around the Global Fishing Watch platform. And please feel free to follow along. So earlier, I've shown a slide, or during our break, there was a slide about registering for a Global Fishing Watch platform. So please feel free to do it now as well if you haven't completed it yet. But for now, I'll just walk you through the main interface or the platform. Okay. So I'll go through the slides first, and then later on we'll switch to the actual application. So to access the Global Fishing Watch map, just type in globalfishingwatch.org slash map, and then the next thing you do is to create or access your account. And for you to do that, you just need to click on the person icon at the lower left side of the screen. Um, okay, so if you're not registered yet, I encourage you to sign up for an account, and you just need to click on the link, the sign up link there as shown in the screen, which will open another pop up window to requesting you for some basic information to be able to register. And for those who have a Google account, it's actually very easy because you can use your Google account to access the Global Fishing Watch platform. All you need to do is click on the Google button here. Okay. So as I said, it's very helpful, very useful if you have an account yourself, because it will allow you to access a lot more features in the platform than if you don't have an account. Okay. So once you're logged in, you will be brought back to this main interface. And just a note that you'll be able to check if you have successfully accessed or logged into your account by checking this part where the person icon once was. So if you're logged in, you should be able to see your initials here. So my name, Tamara Duran. So my initials, TD, is reflected here. Here you can see the largest part of the of the screen, starting from the center up to the right side, this is the interactive map where we will be able to visualize our data. Under the map is the time bar, which can be adjusted to the time or date of interest. And you could actually select a specific time period according to the year or month or day, or actually for a certain day, you could even go down to a specific hour. So it depends on the need or the interest of the user. And then a little to the right, we have here the time bar settings, which shows the customization options. So depending on what you need, you could you could have there either the activity detections, the events, vessel speed, or vessel depth. So if you are in the platform already, feel free to play with it a little bit just to see the difference of each. But in our case study, later, I'll be able to demonstrate how each of them differs. Then on the left side, we have the different layers that are available in the platform. So each layer can actually be turned on or turned off depending on your need, and each layer represents certain type of information. So for example, at the top of the list, we have the apparent fishing effort layers, which shows the number of hours that is spent apparently fishing for a particular area determined by our algorithm. And we say apparently fishing, not confirmed fishing, because as I said, this is determined by our algorithm from machine learning and the different data sources. And there are certain rules that were established to determine if this track shows fishing or not. So based on the website or the platform alone, we cannot confirm if it's phishing, but it can suggest potential phishing activity. And here we have two sources of information. So the first apparent phishing effort layer comes from AIS tracks, or the automatic identification system tracks. And then below it is the apparent phishing effort coming from vessel monitoring systems, or VMS data, that has been shared to us by our partner countries. So at the moment, there are about 10 countries sharing their VMS data to Global Fishing Watch. So later, when you go to the actual map, if you hover over a pixel in the map, it will easily show you or immediately show you the number of hours spent apparently fishing for that particular area. So each pixel represents an area, and this bar here will show you the scale being represented by that pixel or that area. And then it will also show you the list of active vessels in that area for the time period that you've selected. Below the apparent fishing effort layers, we have the vessel presence layer. So the vessel presence layer gives a snapshot of the vessels that are around the area that you're looking at. Below that, we have the detections layer. So the detections layer can give satellite-based imagery. So if a vessel is not on AIS or not on any publicly shared VMS to Global Fishing Watch, it can still be seen on the map. So imagine it being like a top view photo from above. And with it, one can determine presence of a vessel. But in terms of determining identity, it's quite challenging because you only see like the head of the vessel. And then below it, we have the events layer, which can show different types of events. So it can either be encounter events, you can see their loitering events, port visits, and the information that shown by that layer, if you turn it on, is information at a global scale. And then further down below it, so it's not shown here in the screenshot, but if you're in the map further down below it, you'll be able to see the vessels, the list of vessels that you have loaded in the map, because later I'll be showing you, you can search for specific vessels and then visualize them in the map. So if you have loaded one or more than one vessels, you'll be able to see it here in this area. This is what we call the workspace. And below the vessels list, we also have the environment and reference layers, which are from third-party sources. And if you would like to do an area-based analysis, turning off these layers are very helpful in providing more context, because, for instance, the environmental layers, they give you added information related to environment, for example, sea surface temperature, bathymetry, and the likes. And below it, the reference layers give you like geographical indication of the area that you're looking at. You could actually check in a lot more information about the different layers available in the Global Fishing Watch platform. We have what we call the layer library, and you can access it by clicking on the plus sign in any of the sections. So it will open up the layer library, which includes the list of layers available and some description about what it is. So moving on to the left most side of the screen, at the top we have the stacked diamonds, and if you click on that icon, it will show you the workspace. As I said, the workspace that you are currently looking at. So all of the vessels that you've loaded, the layers that you're looking into, when you click on that icon, it will put you back in this interface. Below it is the magnifying glass icon, and this is the vessel search function of the platform. It's sometimes referred to as the vessel viewer. And then the turtle icon below the magnifying glass, this one, leads you to the Marine Manager, which focuses on environmental data that can be used for area-based analysis, usually for biodiversity or conservation management purposes. And then the icon below it, it's the highlighted reports icon, which when you click it, it'll lead you to a page or a listing of the different global reports that Global Fishing Watch has produced so far. And then further down below, we have here the stars or the diamonds. It will give you information about what's new in the website, because the platform, as I said, we try to improve it, further develop it depending on the needs of our partners and also depending on the issues that have been reported to us. So from time to time, our team updates the platform. And if you'd like to see what's new, then you can click on here. Below it is the question mark icon, which gives you helpful tips and hints on how to move around. You have link there to the FAQs and some tutorials if ever you need it. Below that is an icon where you could log an issue as you encounter it or to request for an improvement. Just click here. And then lastly, this icon reflects the translations that are available for the platform. So I think at the moment we have 4 languages available. If ever your language is not in the list, what we do sometimes is to use the translate function of the browser that we're using. So usually we use Chrome, and for Chrome, it's very helpful that they also have a translation feature there. So you could try that as well. And then here we have some more tools where you could search for a specific area, zoom in or out in a specific area, measure distance, type in text if you need it. And then this one allows you to capture or take a picture. And then the last icon is just an option for you to view it, a different viewing option. So the default is like this with blue and dark blue colors. Some people prefer to have like green and browns in the map so that you could easily determine which is land and which is water. So that's the option, the button that will give you that option. So one of the important features of the map is the vessel profiling tool, which comes from the vessel viewer. And this tool, the vessel profiling tool, answers the specific question of who the vessel is. So any vessel transmitting AIS signals can be searched through this tool, and the vessel profile combines all publicly available sources of information on a single vessel. So this includes information coming from public registries like national registries or RFMO registries, and also information that the vessel reports through their AIS or VMS system. The vessel profile also displays information on the estimated activity of the vessel. So here we have there the port visits, loitering events, and later on you'll also be able to see encounter events if there is. And you'll also be able to look at insights that highlight potentially risky behaviors or some factors that you may want to consider when looking at risks. And it allows you to cross check between or across these different factors. So that brings me to the end of this particular section about the platform. And some of the key takeaways that I'd like to highlight is that first, we have a wealth of information, particularly historical data dating from 2012 up to the near present. And I say near present because our data sets have a 72-hour delay. So they're not meant to be used for real time monitoring. But if there are users who need this functionality, there are complementary websites or some partner websites that you could look into as well. And then the GFW platform allows direct analysis of data within the platform. So later I'll show you how to draw insights or generate insights from a specific case. And it's also designed to be easy to use. So easy to use for both experts and non-experts or for anyone who is interested. So as I said, as I showed a while ago, we have some tutorials and hints located in the platform that one could easily access if needed. And lastly, but definitely most importantly, is that it's open and free. So anyone who has a computer, who has an internet, will be able to access our website. So I will pause here and just do a very quick check if there's any questions at this point, anything that you'd like to clarify so far. Okay, good. Looks like everything's clear. But later on, we'll be having an opportunity to ask further questions if there are. So now we will do a case study. So we will be looking into a specific vessel, look into its tracks, its activities, and here you'll see how the different functionalities that I've been talking about a while ago are how they look like in action. So just a brief overview, we will be looking at a vessel called Lurong U1U 159. And later on, we will be zooming into a specific period of interest as shown here. And through this case study, through this demonstration, we'll be able to look at the vessel profile, different information, including ownership, and also the tracks as against the different layers that we have in the platform. So I will, okay. We should go to the, so the first thing we need to do is to go to the website globalfishingwatch.org/map. So feel free to follow along as I do the demonstration. And as I said later on, you'll be doing this on your own. So it would be good to get some practice before that part. Okay, so now we are in our website, and here I can check that I am logged in because I have my, oops, where is the mouse? Okay, I have my initials showing here. So we were given first the name of the vessel of interest, and what we will do is to um, load that vessel of interest into our map. So for us to do that, we go to the magnifying glass icon here, the vessel search or the vessel viewer. Oh, sorry. Vessel viewer. There. And the information that I have right now is the vessel name. So we type in here Lurong U1U159. So just to show you very quickly, we also have two options of searches here, the basic search and the advanced search. The difference is just for the advanced search, you can search for a particular vessel using two or more identifiers. So if you have like the IMO number, MMSI number, you could search for it using all of them at one go. Whereas for the basic search, we just use one identifier. So right now we have the ship name, as I said, and as we search for it, there is we see several ships loaded into the search. But when you look through them closely, only the first one matches exactly the information that we have. Lurong U1U159. The rest have different numbers. So we select Lurong U1U159 by clicking here. Uh, Please bear with me as and then we load it into the map by clicking this blue button at the lower right side. There. Okay. Um, just a tip, if there are layers that you do not need at the moment, it would be good to turn them off because it allows the map to load faster. So right now, we don't need the apparent fishing effort layers. I will turn them off so that our map loads faster. So we turn it off here and here. Okay, so now we see the tracks of the vessel, noting that these tracks are for the time period March 21 to June 21, 2026. So before we look into the tracks, let's look at the vessel profile. What should we do to go to the vessel profile? We click on the vessel name here, and then it will load the vessel profile. So here we have information coming from AIS and also registry, public registries. So looking at the AIS information first, we have here the information about the flag of the vessel. So we see that it's a vessel flagged to China. We have the MMSI number here. And then based on Global Fishing Watch predictions, meaning the algorithm of the platform, we have determined it as a fishing vessel and particularly a drifting longline vessel. Clicking on the registry tab, we see that the information from AIS has been confirmed or it aligns. So it's a vessel flagged to China, a drifting longline vessel, and then in addition to the MMSI, we have a whole lot of other information such as IMO number, the call sign, length, gross tonnage. Below it, you can see the owner. We have ownership information here. So for this vessel, Lurong U1U159, we see that it's a vessel owned by Weihai Hengyuan Fisheries of China. And then below it, we also have information about authorizations. So the latest one that we have, we see that it is authorized by the IOTC. And for the information about authorizations, I would like to mention that this part is being updated by Global Fishing Watch only once a month. So the end date that you see here is based on when it was last updated. So it will be updated again. But as good practice, we encourage the users to also counter check with the registry to get the latest, the most updated information about authorization. So if one would be interested to know more about the owner, so here in the Global Fishing Watch platform, we have the name of the owner. But if you'd like to look into the company a little bit more, um, we have a link to the Triton platform. You could see it here. So Triton is developed by one of our Jack partners called C4ADS, and it gives deeper insights into ownership. So just to demonstrate, I'll be clicking on Triton here, which will lead us to the website. And just to note that for one to access Triton, you would also need to have an account. So the account to register for an account, it is also free, but it's not instantaneously approved as like Global Fishing Watch, wherein after you register, you get the account immediately. For Triton, it takes a couple of days because there are certain internal reviews being done by C4ADS before granting an access. So just for demonstration purposes, I'll be showing you the kind of information that you could get from Triton. So since I clicked on the vessel name from the Global Fishing Watch platform, it lands on this page in Triton that is now focused on the vessel of interest, Lurong U1U 159. So it will give you some basic information, the entity type, flag or nationality, and the IMO number. When you click on the name, it will give some further information. So above, the section at the top shows information about the vessel. So we have here the IMO number, call sign, gross tonnage, all of which you've seen in the Global Fishing Watch platform. But in addition, you have more information about the current status of the vessel. And then at the section below, you'll have the connections information. So as we've seen earlier, we have here the company name, Weihai City, Heng Yuan Fishery as the owner. And then at the top, we have the names of the people who are linked to the company. You can click on, or sorry, before clicking on that, you can view it as a network graph just for easy visualization. So here we have Lurong U1U as the vessel. Okay, we'll just move it around. We have Lurong U1U, the company that owns it, and then the three persons identified to be linked to the company Weihai City Fisheries. So going back to our vessel profile, so we can try to get more information about the company if you need it by clicking on this company name. And here you'll be able to see a lot more information about the company. So it's actually one quick way to see if the vessels associated to our vessel of interest has any record of IUU fishing. In the case of Lurong U1U 159 and the related vessels, so far here, we see that the IUU status for all of them is NA. So far they're clean. Okay. You could also look at the IUU status in the Global Fishing Watch platform, but this one gives a quick overview in one view, because in the platform you'll need to go into the vessel one by one to be able to check that information. Okay, so let's go back to the Global Fishing Watch website. So we've talked about the owner, the authorization, and then here below, we'll see some summary information about the activities that it has done. So we have loaded here, as I said, March to June 21, 2026. And so far, it's not showing a lot of information. So I will be loading, expanding our time range so that you could see what kind of information can be found there. So one way to quickly expand the time range is by dragging this arrow here to the left. So it expands our time range. So the map is loaded as well depending on the time range we've selected. And here we see that for the period February 1, 2023, up to present, the vessel of interest has had 6 port visits, about 957 fishing events, 3 encounter events, and it has several loitering events. It's just turned off right now, but if I turn it on, you'll see the different loitering events. Sometimes it's turned on just to reduce the noise that you see in the visualization. And if you would like to know more information about each of these events or activities, you could go down here in this list and click on the arrow. So, for example, you would like to know more about the ports that it's visited and when those visits happened, click on the arrow and then it shows you. Oops. So, it's been to Malaysia, to Mauritius. Yeah, mostly Malaysia and Mauritius in this time period. And then you'll also be able to see, aside from the summary of events, you can also see the summary of the areas that it has visited. So the areas can either be according to the EEZs, according to FAO areas, according to the RFMOs or the regional fishing bodies, and according to the MPAs it has visited. You could also quickly see related vessels. So there are related vessels based on encounters. So for the period we've selected, there are 3 vessels that it has encountered. And there is also the list of related vessels as linked by the owner. And this is what we also saw a while ago from Triton. And then the last tab is the Insights tab. The Insights tab show us some of the factors that you would like to check if you would want to analyze the risks that may be associated with the vessel. So we have information about the AIS coverage, AIS off events, fishing events, especially in areas where it's not supposed to be fishing. If it has been included in any RFMO IU vessel list, if it's had any flag changes, and if it's been included in the Tokyo and Paris MOU lists. So if you would like to know more about each of these factors or each of these variables, you could click on the icon, the information icon, which gives you more information about what it is, what that factor is about, and where it's been sourced from. So, for example, the RFMO IUU vessel list, you could see that it is sourced from the TMT combined IUU vessel list. So, this was mentioned by Dr. Neat a while ago as one of the sources that you could check for IUU listing. And just to quickly show you how it looks like. So if you click on this one, you will be led to the TMP database, the combined IUU vessel list. And here you'll be able to search the current and previous listings of vessels related to IUU. So the sources of information that are being compiled by the TMP are from these RFMOs listed on the slide. Okay, so going back to our vessel profile, at this point, we'll be going into the specific time period of interest. So earlier we saw that our time period of interest is January. I'll be loading it here. January 2025. So to go to the specific time period of interest, I showed you earlier a shortcut about dragging the arrows to expand the time range. But another way to do it is by clicking the calendar icon here, which will enable you to type in the specific year or month or day that you're looking for. So for our case, we type in here January 2025 up to October 2025. Oh, press done. Okay. So I will be closing the vessel profile first so that you could see the tracks on our screen bigger. And then zooming in a little bit more. Okay. So what are your quick impressions of our vessel tracks? Anything that's interesting or anything that's noteworthy? So initially, we could see that there are several types of events that has happened in that period. We see um, the small white dots, which represent potential fishing activity. We see teal colored boxes, which represent port visits. We have the purple diamonds representing loitering events. So a variety of events in that particular time period. We also see some significant I'll zoom in here. Uh, Significant potential fishing activity in this area. So it's an area that is covered by an RFMO. So what do we do to be able to check which RFMO has coverage in this area? You could go to the reference layer in our platform and click on RFMOs. So remember a while ago in the profile, we see that the latest authorization that our vessel of interest has, or at least for this time period that we are looking at, our vessel of interest is authorized by the IOTC. And so far, it looks like it has been doing some potential fishing in the areas covered by the IOTC. But one thing that is quite interesting is that it has some significant potential activity in this area where there is kind of an overlap between the coverage of the IOTC and also another regional body called the CCSBT, or I'll hover over here. Oop, oop. CCSBT, or the Commission on the Conservation of Southern Bluefin Tuna. So it may be noted that while the IOTC is an RFMO that's bound by geographic boundaries, the CCSBT is a species-based organization. So anywhere where southern bluefin tuna has been caught, either as the main fish or even as a bycatch, it comes under the jurisdiction of the CCSBT. And given that our vessel of interest is authorized only to the IOTC, you would think that it should be looking at or doing potential fishing in areas where tropical tuna is commonly found. So later, we'll see some indication, and I'll ask your opinion if you think if this area is an area where you can find tropical tuna. So I'll just zoom into this. Oh, I'm trying to zoom in. Uh, just to show you how the tracks look like. Okay, so this one is particularly interesting because it seems to be very consistent with uh, fishing pattern, common fishing pattern of a fishing vessel. And right now we have the tracks loaded, but I invite you to go to the time bar settings and load the vessel speed, just so we see where it slows down, where it speeds up in this area. So in this rectangular area, um, the purple and pink segments represent the segments where it is slowing down, while the yellow segments represent the tracks or the areas where it speeds up. So in that particular area, sorry, in that particular area, we'll zoom in a little bit more so you could see. So it looks like it is slowing down up in here. Oh, it slows down, perhaps to set the net or fold the net, and then it circles or goes goes back around to get the net back. So it's doing that kind of motion for quite some time, setting the net, falling, and then coming, getting it back. So it's quite consistent to the pattern of fishing activity of fishing vessels. So as I said, in terms of area, we have noted that the vessel of interest that we're looking at is authorized to the IOTC, but right now we see significant potential fishing activity in an overlap area with the CCSBT. So one another area that we could load, that we could use as an additional um, context for analysis is the environmental layer. So particularly, I would like to load here and show you the sea surface temperature layer. And this is for representation to show which areas should we expect the tropical tuna to be. So generally, we would expect to see them in areas with warmer temperatures. And then we'll add another layer to show which areas are considered or generally cooler areas where you would not expect to see a tropical tuna, but instead potentially um, southern bluefin tuna. So I will look for the sea surface temperature layer. Oh, I'm gonna type it here. Oh, sorry, it is not cooperating. But if you're in your laptops, feel free to load it already if you found it. Okay, there we have it. So we have the sea surface temperature here, and then we add it to our workspace. I'll zoom out so that you could get a bigger, the overview picture of the sea surface temperature. So as you load it, it doesn't have a specific range at the moment. But in our case, as I said, we'd like to show areas that are generally warmer areas. So we can customize the range that the sea surface temperature layer is showing. So we do that by clicking on this filter icon and then customizing the range that we would like to show. So for generally warmer areas, we can say maybe about 18 degrees, 18 to 31 degrees. So we can drag it up to 18, 18, and then the end range would be 31, let's say. Okay, and then we confirm. So that's the part where we see generally warmer areas. And then we add another sea surface temperature layer to show areas that's generally cooler. So we do it again. We look for the sea surface temperature. Oh no. See. Yeah, there we go. And then we add it again to our workspace. And then we customize again the range being showed by our layer. So for this one, we will customize it to cooler temperatures. So let's say 5, 5 to 21 degrees, about that. 5 to 20 degrees. Oop. 5 to 20. Okay. So there, we could see a clear delineation of the warmer and the cooler areas. And for our vessel of interest, despite being authorized by the IOTC, which allows it to be able to fish tropical tuna, we see that there's some significant potential fishing activity being done by our vessel of interest in an area where it is generally cooler and in an area where it could potentially get southern bluefin tuna either as main catch or even as bycatch. So what we see here does not necessarily or automatically say that something illegal is happening, but it is a trigger, or it gives you like additional information of what you should look into, um, just to make sure that the activity is aligned or it complies to the bounds that it is allowed. So as mentioned earlier, there are certain policies or rules or frameworks that governs fishing activity. So what we are offering in the website is um, some information that you could use to be able to support you in looking at potential the activity of a vessel, potential fishing behavior, and also in terms of the other activities that it is doing. So another thing that we could do, so I'll turn off the layers for now. And if just to check if there are any questions, if I've been going too fast, too slow, too much, anything that's not clear, okay, I will turn it off. Oh, sorry, not our. Okay, I will turn off the RFMOs. And then another thing that I'll do is just to look at the EEZs that it seems to have been visiting. So I'll turn off the EEZ layer. And here we see that it's so far operating mostly outside the EEZs. But we also see that in terms of the tracks, it's not a straight continuous track. We see some segments that are missing. So this suggests that there may be some instances that the vessel has been turning off its AIS signal. And going back to the profile that we saw a while ago, does anyone remember the size of the vessel that we're looking at? How big is our vessel? Anyone who remembers? Clue, 3 digits. So our vessel is about more than 300 tons in size. So it's quite a big vessel. And in terms of international standards, what international standards, what do they require from vessels of this size? They require vessels of this size to have their AIS turned on at all times. It can be turned off perhaps in certain justifiable cases, but one quick look in this time period, we see that it looks like there are some instances where it has turned off. So it's another opportunity or another instance that suggests that some further investigation or some further analysis of the vessel may be needed to better understand the full picture of the activity that it has conducted. And if we zoom in some more to the tracks here, up in here, so this is I'll turn on the location labels so that we see better the areas that it's visiting. So here we see that it has, I will not say visited because we do not see a port visit, but it came close to Sri Lanka. So we see that the vessel, it went near Sri Lanka, but it didn't do a port call or a port visit. Do you have any idea or any inference as to why a vessel might have that behavior wherein it comes a little bit close but not directly into the EEZ? Any guesses? I do not have the specific answer for that, so that's why I'm asking the group, because I believe we have a good room of people with that expertise to offer some kind of insights into these kinds of activities. So, but just to demonstrate or to show you, based on our map, we see that it has our vessel has looks like it stayed here for a little bit, did potential fishing. We do not say confirmed fishing, but based on algorithm, it detects potential fishing behavior. It hung out here for a little bit, and then uh, sorry, I'm having some troubles with the mouse. Okay, I will zoom into that. I'll zoom into this event a little bit more. So shortcut to zooming in is to drag the arrows closer to the time of interest. So this one happened around June. Ah, oh no. Oh my gosh. I'll just use the calendar icon in this case because it's easier to manage. So we look at June. We define the month as 6. Oops. 6. And then here also 20, 20. No. Okay. So if we drag our mouse over or hover our mouse over the time bar, you'll see a glimpse of how that activity played out. So it looks like it happened around June 10. So it stayed here, looks like for about a day, went close to Sri Lanka, went close to Sri Lanka, didn't make a port visit, and then went back. So that's one interesting activity that I would also be interested to know why you think that happened. And one useful tool also that we have in the site, as I showed earlier, is a measuring tool. So just for us to have an idea how close it went to the Sri Lankan coast, we can click on this ruler icon and then click the cursor to one end. Oops, there you go. And then double click to the other end. Oh, okay. So here we see that it was about 11, more than 11 kilometers um, from the the nearest coast of Sri Lanka. So it hung out for one day, went a little close, and then went back. Another thing that we might want to um, look into is maybe it met with a vessel. So we would also want to see which vessels are present in the area. And we can do that in the map, as I showed a while ago, by clicking on the vessel presence layer. So here we have the vessel presence layer, and we can turn it on for us to see which vessels are in the area around that time. Okay. So each pink pixel that we see in the map represents a specific area. So in that particular area, we can see maybe one or more vessels. We can try to look into one. I will attempt again to further narrow down our time bar so that we don't have a lot of noise in the screen. So I will drag it to June 9 up to maybe June 11. No. Okay. So I think I did narrow it down a little bit. You can zoom in. Oops. There. So let's select maybe this one. Let's see which vessels are active here. So there was vessel presence for 1 hour, and there is a vessel called Pioneer Kira, a cargo vessel that was near the vicinity of where our vessel of interest is. So what we can do is add it to our workspace. So we can pin it to our workspace by clicking on this literal pin in beside the name. So doing that will add the other vessel to our workspace. So there, it's now represented by the yellow line. And just for us to visualize how their activities happened, I mean, if they met for some time and then went away, we can do that by going back to our time bar. And it may be easier if we revert back to the tracks setting. So right now we have the vessel speed loaded from earlier. We can go back to showing tracks again and close it. And what we'll do is to glide our mouse over the time bar. So just glide over it. Do not click the time bar, but glide over it just to see the activities of both. So here we glide. We see Lurong Yuan Yu there. And then very quickly, the other vessel. So it looks like they didn't have a chance to really meet and have some common activity done, because as Lurong Yuan Yu was going around in this area, Pioneer Kira just went straight in the other direction. So it looks like it's not a suspicious activity. So you can turn off Pioneer Kira, and you could try to look at the other pixels in the area just to see what other vessels there are, or if there are any interesting vessels that are present in the area. So I will stop the demonstration here and pause a little bit for any questions before I give you a chance to investigate. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. My question is this the website that you are linked the position of the vessel is linked by the AIS as
Yes.
you present, right?
Yes.
And as I know, the AIS is for the purpose from the IMO for the safety,
Yes.
the safety. But your website is mean everyone can log in and it's not have any security. It means anyone can use this information, but it's the personal information. I mean, the personal information, the data of the ship is a right of the owner. And now you are open all the data to anyone. Actually, it should be have some kind of the legislation for control who can access the level, which level you can access. It's not like this because we go back to the purpose of the AIS.
Mm-hmm.
It's for safety, and you should secure the data for not for open data like this.
Mm-hmm.
That is my point. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. That's a very good point, and definitely data privacy and the certain information are should be kept uh, not really confidential but managed properly. In our case, we understand, or I think when vessels install or are mandated to install AIS, this enables them to transmit this information publicly. So it's not just being it's not just seen here in our website. It's also seen in other sites that uses AIS as well. So that is I think one of the um, effects, or one of the implications of being able to use AIS. The other information source I showed a while ago, the VMS. This is the more restricted kind of vessel tracking information, and this is only shared to us only if the government has agreed to it. So right now, for VMS, we have about 10 countries that have agreed to share their VMS to us. So from what I understand as well, there are certain international and regional platforms that encourage really the use of AIS, because in addition to being used as a tool for safety, collision avoidance, it is helpful as well to be able to build a bigger picture or a better picture of the activity of a particular vessel. So there are certain international and regional platforms that advocate the use or promote the use of AIS.
So in case of the use of the AIS for the data, what the tracking of the vessel for the purpose, I think in if it's like a government agency, yes, you can use, but it's not public like this. I mean, now you see today, you ask everyone to register the website, and everyone can use. I mean, if somebody use in the bad purpose, they can also tracking everything on your website.
Yes, that's true. Provided if the vessel has AIS installed. Yeah, that's true.
So that's why I just asking maybe the registration, the regist of the website.
Yes.
Maybe you have to make some method to screen some people,
Yeah.
or maybe you have to provide to the government agency account only, something like that, not public like this.
That's well noted, sir. And thank you very much for raising that. If maybe one more question, and then we'll go to the exercise.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tamara, for the good presentation. My question is a little bit related to the colleague's question. So, you know, there is a marine domain awareness systems. Some country try to construct that the MDA system for secure the marine maritime safety issues. So, from the Global Fishing Watch, do you have any kind of experience to cooperate with some countries to construct marine domain awareness? And that is first question. And second one is, can you introduce also this kind of evidence of vessel tracking was used to submit to some court for the legal evidence in some cases? Any countries, can you make some example and show us examples regarding that? Thank you.
Okay, so for the first question in terms of MDA intelligence in Asia, as far as I know, right now the Global Fishing Watch, in partnership with the Joint Analytical Cell or the JAC partners, we are working with the Philippines Bureau of Fisheries in strengthening their MDA intelligence. So we have just started with this initiative actually, and the intention is to be able to support them with using these tools for MDA intelligence. And then for the next question in terms of actual example, I recall there is one example from Panama wherein the information or the report that they got from the Global Fishing Watch website was used by, I think it was called the AREP, the ministry in Panama that that's handling enforcement, and they were able to penalize a vessel using information from Global Fishing Watch. I could try to get that story. I think there's a story in the website. I could share to you the link so that you could have further information about it. All right. So I just want to make a quick time check to know how much time we still have for the session. 30 minutes. Okay. So at this point, I believe everyone has been given this paper, the exercise that we have today. Hello. How is everyone doing? Have you completed your analysis? Okay, so at this point, I'd like to maybe ask any volunteers or any participants who'd like to share what they've seen so far, any answers to the questions that we have, or any questions that have come up as you were doing the exercise. So any volunteer to answer the first question about what we know about the vessel? So basic information, the profile of the vessel. Anyone who'd like to volunteer? If there are no volunteers, I'll call on each one. Okay, yes. Thank you.
For the first one, the flag is Panama.
Yes.
Okay. And type of vessel is carrier vessel. And the gear, because it's a carrier vessel, it has no gear. And for the owner is Habitat International Company Corporation. And for other information, the area operation is on FFA, WCPFC, and in the, the Global Fishing Watch platform,
Yes.
WCPFC is, I think, is not updated. Like it's expired about the WCPFC. So I go to WCPFC website to check again, and it's valid
Okay.
now.
That's very good, and a very good point also that you emphasized in terms of the updated or the updates of the information in the platform. So as I said a while ago, in terms of authorizations, this part is being updated on a monthly basis. So what you see there is the latest information that we gathered when it was last scraped, and then it will be updated again in the following month. But thank you for sharing that. Anyone else would like to add to what was shared already? Okay. Was it easy finding the vessel? Did you find it immediately as you went to the vessel search or the vessel viewer? No? Ye- Yes. So you might have noticed that when you search for the IMO number, there were two vessels that were showing, or at least two entries that were showing. Both were named Sea Star. Is it possible to go back to the website just for me to show it? Okay. So here we see, I'll go back to the vessel search function. And then I'll type in here the IMO number, 8914221. Press enter. So as mentioned earlier, we are seeing two vessels, same name, Sea Star 5, same IMO number, same information as everything else. So you might be wondering, why are there duplicates of this vessel in the search? So the main difference is the first entry that we see here is the information that comes from the VMS data that was shared to us by one of our partners, Panama. And then the one below it shows information coming from AIS and public registry. So both entries are referring to the same vessel, but they are coming from different sources. Did everyone get it? So I will try to log both of add both of them in our workspace. Come on. And then I'll turn off the other ones we were looking at earlier. No. Okay. I will turn off vessel presence also, sorry, so that we have lesser noise. And the reason why we're not seeing anything is because our time bar is still at June 8 to June 14, so very limited time range. So I will put it to the time range of interest, which is June 2025 up to May 2026. Okay, so here we see our vessel of interest. So the orange tracks represent the information coming from the VMS, and the red tracks coming from AIS and public registries. Any other observations, answer to our questions? I don't think we'll be able to go through all of the questions that we have. You can work on it at your own pace later on. And feel free to send me a message if you have any questions. But maybe just one question before we close. What can you observe as you loaded both of the VMS and the AIS tracks on our screen? Do you see any discrepancies in the tracks that have been reported? It looks like it's quite consistent because both of the tracks generally overlap each other. So what we can say here is that the information being reported through VMS and also AIS are mostly aligned with each other. And then just very quickly, as I go to the profile, anyone who would like to share what kind of events they've seen? So we have port visits. Any other events? We have one encounter event. Did anyone find which vessel it had an encounter with? I'm hearing it. Angel 101. Did every one of you get the same vessel? Yes? Which country is Angel 101 flagged to? Panama. Very good. That's great. And then we also have some loitering events here. So I guess I'll stop here for now. I'm very glad to hear that most of you were able to, or at least I think all of you were able to access the platform, move around, and investigate on our vessel of interest. And I hope you'll continue to use the platform, and I hope you'll be able to find it useful as you work through your daily operations. And if there's any issue or any improvement that you'd like to see, there is a button there that I showed you a while ago, the one below the question mark icon, where you could log in, or sorry, not log in, but log an issue or request for improvement. And just for my last slide, can we go back to the presentation? Well, I just wanted to show you my email address so that you could contact me even after the activity. So thank you everyone for your attention, for your interest, and for your engagement.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tamara.